The shutdown does not have to happen. The Republican shutdown does not have to happen. They can do their job and keep these vital programs continuing, keeping the government open, and that's our message. Our message is this should not be happening. We should not be putting American families' lives in turmoil. We should not be putting even their lives at risk, potentially, because of what this could mean for the different programs that these families and Americans need. And so all they have to do is do their job. And what they're doing is putting forth incredibly extreme partisan policies forward, and and saying, hey, we have to get this done in order to keep a deal that they made back in May. And so this should not be happening. It should not be happening. And so, look, we're going to continue to be very clear. What we're saying to them privately is what we're saying to all of you publicly, is that they need to do their job.
Do you know when federal workers would miss their first paycheck?
So I don't have the specifics on any of that. The OMB director and OMB more broadly certainly is working on plans of what this could potentially look like if there is a shutdown, talking to the different agencies. So that is certainly in progress right now. Just don't have any specifics on payments or what that would look like.
And the new announcement today on the gun violence Office for Prevention of Gun Violence. That has been something advocates have been pushing for years. Why do you think it took so long?
Look, here's the thing. As you know, there was the bipartisan piece of legislation that the president was signed, and it was the first major piece of legislation on gun violence that was able to move forward in 30 years. The president did 24 executive actions because he took this seriously. He called the gun violence in this country an epidemic. And so I said this yesterday, and I've said this many times. You've heard this from the president. There are people who are sitting at their kitchen table every night who is missing a loved one because of this violence. Because you can't go to your congregation, you can't go to your grocery store and not worry about potentially getting shut down. You have kids who are going to school, who are, you heard directly from the congresswoman, what they have to go through now because of this gun violence epidemic. So right now is the right moment to establish this office. We want to accelerate what the president is put forward in his 24 executive action. We want to accelerate the law that he was able to sign into law. The legislation was able to sign into law to continue to get the work done. And so this was the right time to do that. But let's not forget the work that the president has done the last 2 years to get us to where we are. But more work needs to be done. He's not going to stop calling on Congress to continue to do the work that they need to do to protect our families from gun violence. But this is an opportunity to accelerate what the president has been able to do to protect communities, to really deal with gun violence. And that's what the importance of this office is.
Hello, friends. So you may want to prepare for this. Social Security monthly benefits are now expected to be cut by at least 20% over the next few years. But congressional lawmakers have laid out new solutions to try and fix this big issue. The program would be funded through a slightly different process, and benefits will be increased if this legislation is passed. My dear friends, please make sure that you watch until the end of this video, especially if you are a senior or a retiree. Also, in a video later today, I will be announcing the winners of today's Walmart gift card giveaway, so please make sure that you do stay tuned. If you would like to enter these weekly giveaway, friends, please click and like several of my videos, and then comment below the keyword of each video that you watch. The more videos that you comment on, dearest friends, the greater your chances of winning these giveaways. According to CNBC News, millions of Americans look forward to claiming Social Security retirement benefits after years of paying into the program. But Social Security beneficiaries face a possibility of an across-the-board benefit cut of at least 20% in the next decade due to a looming funding shortfall that the program currently faces. Tony Vola, a Social Security beneficiary and member of the AARP, Iowa Executive Council, told Washington, "You cut that 20%. That's a crisis. We have done our part. It's time for Congress to do their part." Social Security faces a shortfall between the income it receives through payroll taxes and the benefits it pays through monthly checks. The program's trust funds help make up the difference. But in the next decade, those trust funds will dry up. Without the buffer, benefits will be immediately reduced. The headlines about the program's funding woes may prompt Americans to suspect Congress is doing nothing to change the program's situation. Two top lawmakers who are working on Social Security reform proposals, who spoke at the AARP's forum, which is Republican Senator Bill Cassidy and Democratic Representative John Larson, attributed the lack of action in part to stumbling blocks their proposals have met. Senator Cassidy stated, "It will not happen before the next presidential election because President Biden has made it clear that he's not going to act." During his State of the Union address in February, Biden called for both sides of the aisle to protect Social Security and Medicare. But while Biden called out a proposal from Republican Senator Rick Scott that would sunset the program every 5 years, Senator Cassidy says the president failed to mention a separate bipartisan plan he had been briefed on. Meanwhile, Representative John Larson has put forward a bill called the Social Security 2100 Act in 4 sessions of Congress to make benefits more generous. The enhancement would be paid for by increasing Social Security payroll taxes, as well as adding an additional net investment income tax for taxpayers earning over $400,000 a year. The bill has had broad support among House Democrats, with 208 co-sponsors for a previous version of the proposal, yet it has to make it to the House floor for a vote. Recent hopes to advance the bill failed after Democrats worried that Republicans would say they're behind a massive tax increase. The two lawmakers' proposals take different approaches to achieving long-term solvency to the program. Senator Bill Cassidy wants to create a new Social Security fund by raising $1.5 trillion that would be invested in the stock market. This would be separate from the Social Security's existing trust funds, which are held in either cash or Treasury bonds. The new fund would help the program keep up with inflation, which may run at 6% or 7% annually, while Treasury notes typically earn returns of just 1% to 4%. So as the fund grows, it would ultimately address 70% of Social Security shortfall. The remaining 30% would have to be resolved through bipartisan compromise. Any changes to Social Security would require 60 votes in the Senate and therefore would have to have an agreement from both parties. Ultimately, that kind of compromise cannot happen without leadership from the top. John Larson, who recently reintroduced his Social Security 2100 proposal, criticized one idea that has been floated to create study commissions to evaluate the program's issues. John Larson's bill would bring the minimum benefit up, which would lift 5 million Americans out of poverty. In addition, it would increase all benefits by 2% across the board, while also making benefits more generous for others, including long-term beneficiaries, widows and widowers, and dependent children who are students. Without action on Capitol Hill, Social Security beneficiaries are left wondering what could happen if benefits eventually do face a shortfall. Well, my awesome and amazing friends, that is the end of my daily stimulus update video for today. My dear friends, in a video later today, I will be announcing several winners for the Walmart gift card giveaway. If you would like to enter these weekly giveaway, friends, please make sure that you enter these weekly giveaways by clicking and liking several of my videos, and then comment below the keyword of each video that you watch. The more videos that you comment on, dear friends, the greater your chances of winning these giveaways. Thank you and have a wonderful and very blessed Friday.